Good morning, Messiah. Welcome to worship, and also welcome to the beginning of our Fall Stewardship program. This year, we are celebrating a culture of generosity, and I say celebrating because over the course of this past year, you, Messiah members, friends, neighbors from afar, have all contributed generously and with an open heart to the ministry and mission of Messiah Lutheran Church here in Auburn. So I want to say thank you. And I want to say that it is time to celebrate that generosity, which is what we're going to be doing over these next 5 or 6 weeks. Celebrating a culture of generosity is more than filling out a statement of intent form. And we will be doing that toward the end of October for a November 7th time of ingathering of statements of intent, but it's much more than that. Celebrating a culture of generosity is sharing stories that inspire us, and I want to just share two with you this morning. First of all, just a couple days ago, I was in line at Starbucks going through the drive-thru, and I think we've all experienced where the person in the car ahead of us pays for whatever we ordered. And then, the idea is that maybe you will do that for the person behind you. And those little acts of kindness, generosity just kind of will keep expanding. Well, I was there this past week and I came up to the window to get my coffee, and the person there in the Starbucks window said, "Oh, it was the car two ahead of you that paid for two cars behind." And I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I've never experienced this before. And I said, "What, does that happen often?" And they said, "No, but today they did that without feeling any obligation, other than just being sort of opened up and a little light shining into a very cloudy and dreary day." I simply said, "Well, I'll pay for the two cars behind me." Did I feel obligated? Heavens no. But I felt so moved by the generosity of that person two cars in front of me that I wanted to share that with others. And that's how generosity works. We receive, and we're just so moved by it that we want to share with others. I'll tell you a second story. When I was a young boy on the playground at Tapiola Park in Astoria, Oregon, a bunch of us, must have been about kindergartners, were playing on the playground, and a young boy reached over, right in some wood chips, and picked up something and was staring at it intently. He came over to me and he opened up his hand. He said, "Look, it's more than I've ever seen before." In his hand was one small, shiny dime, 10 cents. We both stared at it. We thought this was a treasure of great magnificence. But you know what? Instead of closing his hand around that shiny dime and walking away, he put his hand over mine, and the dime fell in my hand. He said, "It's yours," and walked away. Even to this day, 50 plus years later, that little act of generosity, unthinking, not really knowing what he was doing, still touches me. The impact of a generous act can last a lifetime. And that's why we're going to be talking about stories of generosity over these next weeks, because as we share them, we begin to understand that it is out of receiving generously from God, that we now give to others, whether it's to Messiah Lutheran, to organizations in our community, or simply random acts of generosity in and through our daily life. I want to just invite everyone, as we begin this time of thinking about celebrating Messiah's culture of generosity, that you begin to cultivate your own generosity story. What has struck you? What has been generous in that you have been opened up by receiving to give generously to others? Let's share these stories over these next 5 or 6 weeks and celebrate what a generous and amazing place Messiah Lutheran Church is for all people. God bless you all. Have a great worship this morning. Bye now.